born. It's been 8 months. I got right back in the gym, and I just, slowly got into a new groove with a new schedule. And, I wanted to get acclimated to that right away. So we were working on some big fights, and they just weren't coming together, just timing wise. And so I started to put pressure on the UFC, saying, "Hey, man, I've accepted all these fights, and they haven't come through. But I've been training, and I'm just waiting to turn it up to the next gear." And so they gave me Burgos, and I was like, "Cool, let's do it." And so it was just about turning up the training a little bit, and here we are.
You trained with TJ Dillashaw, and I think you must have known about what the news was before it all came down. Did he pull everybody aside and kind of talk to them about what was going on and what the status was?
No, I kind of found out like everybody else. It was quite a shock because it's as far as our team, we have standards and stuff like that about being honest and going through stuff. But he's still a part of our team, and it's a decision that he made, and that we forgive him for. It's unfortunate. I just obviously myself didn't like being put in pictures and the whole team being accused of stuff that's not true.
Have you spoken to him one-on-one since then and kind of cleared the air?
Yeah, he feels terrible about the whole situation, and the talking's been pretty minimal because I was training for this fight. But yeah, I mean we're working past it.
Do you feel like it shines a negative light on the team as a whole and makes people think, oh, maybe all of these guys are into this sort of thing?
I think it did, but whatever. People can think what they want. I got drug tested more this camp, which is fine, and I'm for more drug testing because I don't do any of that, so it doesn't bother me.
Cub, first, congratulations on the Twins.
Thank you.
Coming off of 3 tough losses, does that put additional pressure on you for this upcoming fight, or how do you stay focused with it?
It definitely makes me upset with myself and my performances, so it makes me really attention to detail. But going into the fight, I'm thinking about how I'm undefeated here in Canada, so that's a streak I like a little better. So yeah, I mean, I put a lot of attention into detail, fixing mistakes, and I'm ready for this.
Now that things have mentioned, there are some other big fights on the table. You were in talks to headline this card originally, right, against Zombie, and it didn't come together.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know anybody knew that. Yeah, we were trying to make it work with the Korean Zombie, which I thought was a great fight, and but he was busy with his schedule, and so they kept pushing the fight back, and so I said yes to every date, and it didn't happen. So here we are.
Is that a fight you hope to revisit sometime down the line?
Yeah, I think I just saw that he got a fight booked, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a fight that fans would love. So I mean, at this point in my career, I'm just wanting to put on great fights for the fans.
You've been pretty open about the distractions, external, kids you can't avoid, obviously, buying a house, changing camps. How much of that factored in, do you think, in your last few performances?
I mean, I just don't feel like I performed at my best. So, looking at everything, just saying, well, maybe I should have been able to get away and focus a little bit more. And that's on me, I wanted to be, as a fighter, it's very selfish, and you want to be the best at it, and you obsess about it. And I've always done that. And, having kids and all that is something new, something exciting that just had my attention, and I would go to work and come home, and then it's like I'm enjoying that. So that being said, I just was able to get away a little bit this camp. Spent half my week in Indio, and then the last 2 weeks in Indio, and it just made me able to kind of come home and study film and really kind of obsess about the fight instead of playing with my kids.
So better balance now.
Yeah, better balance, and it's a learning experience. You grow up, things change, and you have to adjust.
Cub, you've won so many fight of the night bonuses. Shane, he has 2 and 5 fights, so the fans that for these fights, obviously. Do you look at it the same way as far as being exciting or being a challenge, knowing again that people are expecting another fight of the night from the two of you?
if it happens, then so be it. You know, those fight of the nights, you wake up the next morning a little bit sore. So it's not what I want, preferably, but it's my fighting style. It's his fighting style. If it happens, it happens. But I mean, I would prefer a short night. You know, I prefer to go in there and get it done and get out of there. But another fight of the night, you know, to add to the number, that's cool with me too.
And I've seen you mention Azufa boxing recently. If you had the choice, would you want to do both, or would you want to make a full transition like into boxing and just kind of focus on it, if that comes out?
I definitely do both. But yeah, doing a boxing match is always something that I wanted to do in my career, something I've asked the UFC since I was fighting in WEC, and they always told me no and shut me down pretty quick on it. So I was a little frustrated when Connor did it, but I understand the magnitude of it, and I was very supportive of that, you know, for our sport, just to see the what ifs. I mean, that's the whole reason this sport came to be, and say, hey, let's take this style versus this style, see what happens. That's what this sport is about. So I wanted to see, you know, MMA fighters crossing over, and you see, you know, in Japan, you see some big stars doing kickboxing and stuff like that. I think that's awesome.
You've already been through some life-changing events, in trouble as a teenager. Talk about your mindset then, going through that period, and where you're at now as a father, and how you've evolved as a person.
I mean, that's a great question. I really owe that to the sport. You know, I think this sport gives you a lot of humbling lessons, you know, losses, and just being able to work hard, having structure, being accountable. You know, nobody checks up on me for, you know, making weight and doing all these things and doing that extra road work and stuff like that. So you have to be accountable for things, and I think that just, if you allow it to, the sport can make you a great human being. You know, it's like, you know, people tell me all the time, why don't you talk more crap or be like, you know, look at Colby Covington. You know, like, I just think he's kind of a douche. I wouldn't sell my soul just for more money. You know, like I do well. I'm happy with who I am and where I'm at in my career, and I wouldn't do more to make more money. You know, so I think that's just come with, you know, being in the sport for a long time, understanding who I am, where I've come from, what I've accomplished. That kind of stuff means more to me.
Was there a moment as a teen though where the light switch went on, and you said to yourself, I've got to change, I've got to be a better person, I've got to do something else?
Yeah, I remember it, you know, very vividly. I was in juvenile hall, and I was sitting in there, and I was in the first week I was in there. I was in like you know, lockdown for, it was like 22 hours. You only come out for a shower until I got transferred. But I was just sitting in there with nothing to do but think, and I was just like, wow, how did I get here? You know, I didn't grow up getting into trouble. I wasn't like that, but it's just my teen years where I kind of just changed. And so I just realized it was just simple. It was decisions that I had made at the time that led me to be in that position. So it allowed me to realize that when I make decisions, there's consequences, and they're good or bad. So I just needed to do better at making those decisions, and so it makes me more calculated about what decisions I'm making.
Did you become a good person after that?
I think so. I think I really try. I mean, no one's perfect, but I feel like that was a life-changing moment. And then I think after I had started winning some fights in MMA years later, I came home because I was living in Orange County. I came home, and I was, you know, people were coming up to me in the streets and telling me that they're proud of me and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I felt this huge weight on my shoulders, just going, man, you know what? Kids look up to me now. Like that's something that is a real thing that I need to acknowledge. And so it kind of allowed me to really say, man, I could be a good, you know, role model or a bad one. And so I just chose to try to be a good role model and try to be a good role model to the kids that grow up where I'm from, and because I knew that they were going to latch on to me, because not a lot of people come out of where I'm from and make it big.
You guys are all at different camps now, but it's kind of a Jackson and Green and a Cowboy and Brunson and everything. How exciting is it for you to share a card with these guys?
I mean, I love it. You know, me and Brunson have had some really good talks over the years. You know, just texting each other about, you know, after fights and situations we've been in, and you know, with Cowboy, we never really talk very much, but when we're around each other, we're both, you know, hungry fighters, and we kind of understand each other in that position, but shared locker rooms and stuff like that. So those are two solid guys that I really appreciate, and it's pretty cool to have them around.
Just having kids with Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway, how do you think Max did going up to 155 in that fight?
I mean, I didn't think he had the smartest game plan. Usually, I think at 45, he's able to kind of keep distance and have range control. I felt like in this fight he didn't do that. But you know, I didn't expect Poirier to look so good against him. But I mean, that was an amazing fight.
Does having kids change your intensity in there? You see in the movies, they punch a little harder, run a little faster. Has that been the case with you? Something to fight for?
It's just made things real, you know. Like before, it was all on me. Now I know I'm building something at home. I've always been trying to build something, build a family, like a foundation at home, you know. Make enough money to buy a house and do all these things to have a family down the road, and now it's happening, and I'm seeing it and I'm feeling it. It's an amazing feeling. It gives me that little extra motivation, you know, because I've been doing this 15 years, and you know, I'm still on the treadmill. I'm still putting in all the hours and training harder than ever. So, you know, it's for them at this point.
One more question, guys.
Hi, Cub. It's over here. One, you know, I think a 3-fight stretch like this would be really debilitating for a lot of fighters, perhaps newer to the game, but you've experienced just about everything the sport has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
How has it impacted you mentally?
You just try not to let it impact you. You know, I mean, people want to bring it up, but when I work with my sports psychologist, we talk about it's not a losing streak. That's something people try to put on you. It's like I've lost 3 individual fights against 3 different people, and you know, every fight is different. So this fight is completely different than those ones, and I'm just taking it one fight at a time. They're minor adjustments I feel like I need to make, and that's something that I can obsess about in the gym, and I have been, and I've had pretty much 9 months to, you know, get better and figure things out. And you know, in the past, when I've had that kind of time to come back and rebuild, I've done great. So I'm confident.
To end on a positive note real quick, I saw recently, I was watching Punisher, saw Keith Jardine in there. You famously fought Nick Jonas on Kingdom. Would you be interested in exploring more movie and TV roles as your career winds down in the cage?
I would love to. It's not something that I want to pursue like passionately. I don't see myself going to, you know, I don't really like rejection. I'm not gonna go to these auditions and I don't think I would do well at that. If someone wants to offer me parts because I have a look or an attitude that they like, then that's easy for me. You know, I could be the tough guy, but I don't see myself going to auditions. But so we'll see. Anything that gets offered to me, I try to take, because I like to challenge myself and like to put myself into uncomfortable situations. Like public speaking has been a big one for me. I plan on doing a lot of that, even though I dreaded it my whole life. So.
I'm doing well today.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you guys.